in Eritrea, there is no there is no free media. There is only one communist state media. There is no internet, literally, because the government blocked the whole internet to control you from being exposed to new information, to new ideas, and always the narration being controlled by the state. Always the narration is anti-Western, anti-American, anti-Zionism, anti-Christianity, so, and also trying to, like, present Islam as more peaceful, as that's why we were naive. Before I came out from my country, I thought Islam was a religion of peace, because in Eritrea they are minority, and when they are minority, most of Islam, when they are minority, they are very peaceful. They are
Hear
very
that.
peaceful people.
Everyone, please listen.
Yeah.
When
And the
I want to just
media.
repeat that. When they're minorities, they're
Hmm.
very peaceful.
Yeah.
Very, very peaceful. Go ahead.
And that's why I was very naive. Not only me, but every my people from Eritrea were naive, and we didn't have any information about Islam. The day that we ran away from the country, from a communist dictator, from a dictatorship, treated people. We're not allowed to get out of the country from the age of 18 to 60. You are under military service in the name of national service, but it's like literally a modern human slavery system. And we ran away from that really, really bad situation. And when we got into Sudan, Egypt, Libya, and we've been treated like as much worse than we were treated under the communist rule, because we were Christian, and we were naive. We didn't have any information how, even though our we have a long history of fighting Islam, that narration or that history, our past history, being completely erased from the school system. So we were not taught how our grandfathers fought Islam in the Red Sea, in against Ottoman Empire, along the side of Portuguese. All this amazing history that we fought against Islam to defend our faith and to defend our nationhood, being erased from the school system. So we were very naive, and then we've been kidnapped, and we've been treated like not a slave, and we were shocked, and we were
What
very
does that
shocked.
mean? I mean, so when Americans think of slaves, they think of not even given clothes, chained up. They're really thinking of like the 1700s, and in the 1800s. That's what they're thinking of. So like Harriet Tubman, right? What does it mean to be treated as a slave? Like very specifically, what does that look like?
So the time that I was kidnapped, everyone was under chain, even though we had clothes, our own clothes. Even if you don't have any other clothes, then, and until you get paid the ransom money, 10,000, 40,000, it depends, 3,000, 4,000, you are in chain. You're allowed to eat a little bit food, because you have to pay the ransom. If you're dead, you're no use. You're not be useful. So they have to keep you, feed you to stay alive, not really to get full, but to stay alive. And if you are unable to pay the ransom money, actually there are almost hundreds of people being organ trafficked. They actually do literally a surgery without any anesthesia or without any sophisticated equipment. They took their organs and sell it to Egypt, in Egypt, to different countries. They sell it. And that way, that's how be useful. That's why they want to keep you alive. They don't want to, like, really kill you. But they have to torture you. They use fire to torture you. They use electric shock to torture you. Especially if you are unable to pay the money, it will be the worst experiences. It would be I don't know. It could similar slavery system. I don't know a lot of history about slavery in America, like detailed or pictures of that slavery, but it could be it could be very similar, you know.
Are
It's
you
not
allowed to
like,
talk?
huh?
Are you allowed to talk? Like, can you talk to the people that you're chained up with?
Yeah, but you all are in pain, you know, like
Oh,
you
geez.
are all in pain. You have nothing to talk about. You're just praying so that God will save you, and you know, like, and for me, I was lucky that I was not killed, I was not dead, and because the Israeli army was on the border and they saved me, I was one of these lucky people that have been saved by the Israeli Defense Force, and I was given asylum in Israel. And there are 40,000 Christians and black like me who lives in Israel being given asylum, being allowed to work. I'm not saying it's a perfect place. There is a discrimination everywhere. You know, like there is, which I was also protesting. There's democracy that I could protest on that. If there is
Right.
a discrimination or wrong, an immigration policy that treats us differently, then I did protest. That's why, just like in America, it's very similar. If a policy that I don't like, I can speak out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But under that chain, under that slavery treatment, forget about speaking out. Forget about. I'm just the only person that I was able or I was allowed to speak to is the Jesus Christ or God. That's the only person. You just speak up, not to, because you know how they treat you, and you know who these people are evil, and you know who these people. You already know that these people are wanna kill you, and they hate you for who you are, for what you believe, and there's no reason for you to speak to these people. Maybe you pray to God, and God will visit you and save you, and He did. God actually visited us, and He saved a lot of us, even though a lot of us were killed and being organ harvested, being treated, you know, like having all this psychological trauma, living with the trauma, with the rape, you know, and everything. But still, God visited us, saved 40,000 of us, and took us to a safe haven in Israel. And so, what I'm saying is, like, this is my story, you know. I suffered under communism, under a communist dictator for, you know, like this many years. And then I was naive that the neighboring country or the people neighboring to us, I didn't know about them. I didn't know who they are. I didn't know about until I experienced it myself, until I went through this hell. And when I went through the hell, I understood what Islam is. And I started even to study my own history, my grandfather's history, and what Islam is, what Western civilization is, what's the differences, you know, between Christianity and Islam. I studied it well, and I understood perfectly the reason why I went through that way. And that's the reason that I want to speak out, that I won't tell people who never been through that experience, but who might be in the future, that I have to warn them. This is my story. And if we are not really understanding what's happening, or who this ideology is, or who these people believes in that ideology, if you do not understand them, then if you don't learn from history, then you repeat the history, and which you will pay a heavy price for that, and it will be painful. It will not like an easy experience. The reason I am speaking is because I survived it, but there is also a chance that you will not be surviving,
Right.
because there are a lot of people just like us, human being, believes in this faith, in Christianity, who paid their life, and they nobody even to remember them, nobody even to speak about them, being completely forgotten. So what I am saying is, we need to return our Christian brotherhood, and not based on our race, not based on background. If we believe in the idea of Judeo-Christian values, on the idea of Christianity, then we need to bring our brotherhood, because that's the main reason that Christianity actually expanded all over Europe, their brotherhood. It's not their wellness. Forget your class, forget your background, forget your race. You need this brotherhood, and we need to fight Islam wherever it is. If we say, oh, only we will fight when it comes to my home, it will be too late, you know?
Right.
We need to, if it's in Dearborn, we have to go and fight there. If it's in Eritrea, then we have to go and fight there, because that we will save our homes, we will save our city, we will save our neighborhood, we will save our state, we will save as a whole as our country, America. We have to fight wherever it is, because we don't understand this, because we are too late. That's why now we are fighting on the doors, on the footsteps of our door. It's already in here.
Yeah, I
And
would say it's already stepped into
yeah.
it's already stepped into our homes. So what's interesting to me, because a lot of people will say, a lot of people will turn off and say, "Oh, this is all about Christians." But I think the key there is the idea of Christianity. The
Hmm.
idea that we can unite under the brotherhood of man without necessarily